Folks, welcome to what is a special podcast. It's our 40th podcast of the season. By God, we rode our luck tonight in Oriel Park. We're going to straight bring in, it's a Monday night, so we're going to bring in nice and quickly Pingu from Chicago, and we're also going to bring in Donald Hanks, Dream Team tonight. Lads, last couple of minutes, well, not last couple of minutes, last 20 minutes. Great win, but they definitely rode their luck, didn't they?
I'll go. Yeah.
Fingers gone.
Yeah. No, they did. The first half was good. They looked dangerous, and then at the start of the second half, they obviously got the second goal. Could have got another goal. Talbot made some brilliant saves, and then it was the epitome of backs to the wall for like the last 15, 20 minutes. A lot of it actually comes from the changes the Bohs made at half time.
Yeah.
And from Sloggett going off just after those changes, lost a bit of control in midfield, and then rode their luck towards the end. But look, they got like an absolutely enormous 3 points. So that's
we spoke here last week just at the draw of Finn Harps in the cup match, and we kind of said it's a massive week for the club. The next week's probably going to be, obviously if it goes really wrong, it's an awful week, but it could be a potentially massive week. And there'll be 3 games. I see the tweet earlier on. I don't know how accurate it is. Is it the first time 3 wins on the bounce all season? But it's a massive week for the club. We couldn't have asked for much more. And Pingu, I don't know if you're watching the game tonight or seeing it all, but I thought there was a bit of probably more confidence about them tonight. I know Bohs were excellent, but I thought we had a bit more confidence in us from maybe kicking on from the last 2 games. What did you think? Pingu there. Air to Pingu. No, he's gone already. Not even. Wouldn't even introduce the show, and now he's gone. But I think the 2 wins, the Finn Harps, obviously, and Sligo, it breeds confidence, so that will generally inevitably breed success. I think tonight, the first half, I think I even commented in the group chat we have, it was a pretty bang average first half until really the goal. I mean, I know we had 1 or 2 chances, Bohs had a bit of the ball, but we didn't really create a lot. I mean, up until the goal, Duffy to Stanton, the touch from Stanton for that goal was just absolutely like, if like we keep saying, if it's on Sky Sports, if it's someone at a World Cup, or if it's Messi, that they're replaying that on Sky Sports. Like that first touch tonight was just sensational.
Yeah, like it was an absolutely incredible goal, and delighted for Sam Stanton to get the goal, because he's been great all season, and that was his first goal, I think, wasn't it? His first goal of the season, and it shows the talent in him, like that he's played left back, he's played holding midfielder, and now he played a little bit further forward with Sloggett behind him, and this is the kind of thing you can come up with. Like he's been absolutely fantastic for me, like the best, I think, almost definitely the best of any of the signings that came in over the transfer window. So I was delighted to see him get the goal. But I mean, it's such a finish, and then like to have a goal in the second half that could challenge it for like goal of the month, as Flano was saying, like just 2 absolutely fantastic goals. Like just fantastic.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've seen some goals usually, but it's been a while since we've had a night where we've just been astounded by just the goals the Dundalk have scored. Like 2 fantastic. Like, I mean, you were talking about Stanton at the start of the season. When we signed him, he didn't look like he was fit. It took him an age to get into it, but kind of when Shields left and he took over that kind of mantle in midfield, he's generally been top class in more games than not. And tonight, even to find himself so far forward, but I think Stan Staunton, as we're going to call him from now on, if that's him at the start of the season, he doesn't find himself in that box. It probably falls to maybe a McElhenney or a Murray.
Yeah.
But that quick thinking, that sharpness, again, we're talking about confidence from the last 2 games. Whether that happens last week or 2 weeks ago against Finn Harps, he probably takes a touch and tries to turn the other way. Have we got Pingu there on the line? Is he back up? He texts me to bring him in.
Yeah. Oh no, I'm ready to go.
It's an absolute chance.
Yeah.
But sorry, don't go.
No, I was just going to say the thing you were saying about Stanton there, and like finding himself in the position that he found himself in, and the last 20 minutes of the game come down to that, not having a bench, not having the ability to change players like from game to game. And the thing about like Stanton being in that position is like there's no one else. Like obviously Patching was out again, or was out suspended, I think they said tonight.
Yeah.
So it was like one in and one out in midfield. And then you see in the second half when Sloggett goes off and you're looking to the bench and you're like, we have to put Dummigan into midfield. And then like Benamar kind of ran out of steam. And I mean run out of steam, like he looked like he was really, really, really struggling to get around the pitch towards the end of his performance today. And it's like Han has to come on. It really highlights how many players are out injured and what sort of the caliber of players that are missing. Like you just even if we only had like one or two, like even if it was just Danny Kelly or Dickie Kelly that you could bring on, or was starting the game and then you bring Benamar on, or if McElhenney is available and McElhenney comes in when say Sloggett's out or Patching's out or whatever, like they just have no options, and it's really been highlighted in the last like 20 minutes of games. I mean, just looking back on the results as well over the last couple of weeks, that there was the one all in Waterford was before the Finn Harps one, wasn't it? That was the last game, and then we get like the lads run out of steam, concede a goal at the end. They run out of steam in Ballybuffet and concede 2 goals.
Yeah.
And they can't do anything about the players that have left or anything now, but it just highlights like if they had a full squad, if they had everybody fit and ready to go, how good they could be.
The Dean Harris would just cough there to let everybody know he was back. Pengu, it's great to have you.
How's it going? How's things?
What did you think?
It was great. I enjoyed Stanton's goal. It was a nice tap in by Hoban for his finish as well. Look, you asked me a question about 10 minutes ago, and I was in the middle of answering it. You couldn't hear me, but that's the kind of result. I think we said it last week too. That they're the kind of results that if we had this podcast 2 weeks ago, we probably weren't getting it. We weren't going to see a game like that out. So it's honestly, it's kind of amazing to see how much has changed and I put it down to what I said on Friday night. I think fans being back, fans and numbers, I think it's just made a huge difference getting behind the team. But look, it was nervy towards the end, but that's a massive 3 points, and I mean it's been a massive week.
Yeah, I think the season they've had, over the last week, there has to be a massive correlation there with the fans. I know we've had 500 and 400 games at the start. When you've got that extra, when you've got the shed packed and, they're pretty much a full stadium, not full, but 3/4 full, I think it can't be a massive coincidence that they're playing like that. We're not just saying it is fans. The ability's there, their fitness, they look sharper. They seem to want the ball a little bit more. Now, they ruled their luck at the end, but we were just saying, I don't know if you heard us, Pinker, we're just saying it's been a long time since we've seen the game at Oriel. We've just been talking about the actual goals and Dundalk scored, the quality of the goals. I mean, Hoban, sorry. Like we probably talked enough about Stan Staunton, but Hoban strike in the second half was just, and it's left pegged as well. It's an absolute worldly. Yeah,
it definitely was, and to be fair, he's playing very, very well at the minute. So I have no problem eating a bit of humble pie on that one. He's been very, very good, and he's been the talisman in the last couple of weeks in this resurgence, hasn't he?
Yeah, I think he might have maybe tuned into the podcast and maybe he was listening over the last couple of weeks. People think the thing is really harsh. I mean, we've just been winding up. We probably made it sound much more worse than it's actually been. But it's an excellent game, and the win's probably sweet up because it's come at the end of a week that we've struggling before, and we've allowed Finn Harps back into the cup tie with such a disaster over the last couple of minutes. But it's probably all the sweeter that Bohs were excellent tonight as well. Bohs had, it's not like Bohs were poor and we were like it was end to end, and the second half was one of the best second halves I've watched in football all season. But Bohs were excellent tonight. I see at the end of the game their staff's over. I think they're shooting for handball, penalty, but like people like Devoy and right, and I even I was surprised Buckley went off at half time for them. I don't know if it gave Dundalk a little bit of an edge now, like Donald was saying, it was probably cancelled out with Sloggett going off as well. We're not too sure if it's a hamstring or what kind of injury he has, but I think for me anyway, I can't speak for you, but for me, when other teams played that well and we can still come out with a victory, it's all that little bit sweeter, isn't it? Anyone is anyway.
Yeah. No, it's and like this is this is when you can't see whether that little icon is going to start talking or not. This is the kind of win that Vinny got previously. You get like a bit of magic from the players that are like the talented players on the field, and then you're just organised and you don't give away stupid goals. Now the goal that they give away, I mean, there's a couple of questions to be asked. I think Plano said on the commentary that Hoopen was having a go at Benamar for not getting out to block the shot. I think Cherry probably thinks it's going to be a cross and takes a step to the left, and it looked like a very, very, very easy goal. But they hung in there. I think a couple of the penalty decisions that obviously Bohs didn't get. I think I wasn't sure about any of the handball ones because we just can't really see them. I thought the one where Georgie Kelly got pulled down or fell down in the box looked like a soft one. Like it didn't look like there was much there.
It's one of them you've seen them given. Yeah, you've seen them given. It's one of them ones. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I think the one that I was most worried about was it was just after the second goal when he had a shot. Kelly had a shot inside the 6-yard box, and I think it hit Andy Boyle, but Andy Boyle went down holding his face, and I always think that's like the sign of a guilty man that he's just handled it if he's just rolling around holding his face when it clearly didn't hit him on the face.
Yeah.
So I was a little worried about that one, but then look, we've had a few dodgy penalty decisions given against us and didn't not going for us. So not that any of those were lucky decisions, but look, we could do with a bit of luck, couldn't we?
Oh yeah, if any team deserves something like that, it's us. Is Pingu still there? Are we still there?
Yeah, I just have to jump off now.
Yeah, we'll just hit you one more. Just before you go, we're not. We're not doing. We don't mind the man of the match coming in. But there's no pizza on a Monday night because Vinny DeLuca will absolutely shoot us for giving away so many pizzas. But we'll just get your thoughts on man of the match, Pingu, just before you shoot off.
Yeah, I'll probably say myself that it's look, I'm going to give it to my main man again 2 days in a row just to take credit for his resurgence. I see that someone's calling me out on Oriel Web there, saying that I took credit on Friday night for his resurgence. So I suppose if I'm going to take all the credit for it, I might as well go with my main man, Pat Hooben. As Patrick James, I found out over the weekend, I call him Patrick John. It's Patrick James Hooben. So
he must be very tight now. He's a very friendly man all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Not that he's weren't. We're just venting. You're just venting.
Apparently, you're not allowed to have any constructive criticism anymore. So. All right, lads. Have a good one.
Thank you. Pleasure.
All right, thank you.
Cheers, lads. Good luck.
Chancer's not even doing that.
No, I'll tell you what's a little bit worrying though. He's hitting the type of form that Patrick McElhenney hit after he signed his pre-contract with Derry. Like it's almost like right, the future's sorted. I can just, I can let loose now.
He seemed to be someone. I won't use the cliche with a point to prove, but he seemed to really like that goal tonight. He seemed to really want that. He seemed to really. I know you enjoy every goal, but there was just something different about it. When his celebration, even last week as well, he just seemed to be just more up for it now. I don't know if there's just something that's clicked with him over the last week. Like we did say last week that, the next 7 or 8 days are massive in the Dundalk season. Now, I know we're down the bottom anyway. It doesn't change a lot, massively much. But, it could have been an absolute awful week out of the cup, getting closer to Longford, that type of thing. But I think they just seem to want it a little bit more. Tonight in particular, like I said, the first half I think was great, but the second half just seemed to be. It was like they finally said, right, we're here to play football. This is the way it's going to be. I don't know if the training's changed. I don't really know, but I would say it's probably, like, I've seen some tweets there tonight. The fans have to have a massive say in it. Like that confidence builder, that noise coming out of under the tunnel. We're not on the tunnel from the YDC for our lads, but I don't know what your perspective is on it. But like, I haven't been up to a game. I haven't been back to Oriel Park since pre-COVID myself. But the noise and the roar of the shed and the boys just has to play that added extra factor, hasn't it?
Yeah, no, I think the what really drove it home to me was the semi-final, or not the semi-final, the cup replay. After going goal behind, and what I had thought was going to happen that night didn't happen. Like, the crowd just lifted all the lads on the pitch, and look, it's the type of thing you can, like, people can poke holes in, and people can say, like, no, it doesn't make any difference, and every club has fans and all that kind of stuff. But like, it can't just be a coincidence that the level of fight in the lads has gone up since we've had a full shed and a full stand. Has to have made a difference.
Yeah, I think, like, it's easy to say with COVID and stuff and at the start of the season, but it's got to all add up somewhere. I think it's a culmination of everything coming back together and fans back. It seems, and look, at the lads are playing top class football, but without, at the risk of repeating myself, it's even all that little more special that Bohs were excellent in the second half. Like, Bohs will go home kicking themselves they didn't get at least a draw. Like, we really rode our luck in the last couple of minutes. I actually thought one of them went in and went over the bar. It might have been from, I don't know if it's from Devoy or Bort, but those two lads, like, that Bort was just an absolute sensation. He is an absolute. He's as good as anything I've seen in the last. Like, when you go back to, like, I always mention a playmaker midfield that we had, Keith Ward. When Keith Ward was on it, he was top class in the league. And this boy it's like he spat him out of his mouth. He moves like him, he runs like he's a top class footballer. He's kind of he'd be their version. He'd probably become their version of a Michael Duffy or a Fats. But I thought they were excellent, and it's all that little bit better that we can probably take the lead against a team like that and keep it and play really well. I mean, Sean Murray again was excellent, like, fully fit. I said it here last week, fully fit. There's not many other midfielders or centre halves when he's running can actually deal with him. And when you think of the players we don't have playing tonight that would normally start, we started the show with it. It's an excellent week. It really is.
Yeah, I think the injuries have actually the lack of options has helped Sean Murray. Sean Murray wasn't getting a run of games because there was patching and McElhaney in those positions, so he wasn't getting in. So them players not being around, or one of them not being around, has been great for him, because, look, we know there's a brilliant player in there. He has to he can't have gotten to the level that he's gotten to without having the talent. It's just a case of getting him a run of games, injury free, getting fitter and fitter all the time. Because he's just so dangerous. Like, talk about there was an interview with Greg Sloggett on the Patreon thing wrong before the game on the stream, and he was just saying about how he always ends up in the right place at the right time when the ball's coming into the box. Like, and it's a skill. It's not just luck. Yeah. Like, he can read everything that's happening around the box and knows when to make the run and knows when to get in there. So, like, he's been excellent. But I was just thinking, like, the important thing of having good players to bring in off the bench. Like, you need a top squad to maintain the level that they're at, and we need a top squad to maintain this podcast. So bring someone in off the bench. All right, Steph.
Mr. McGavin.
Thanks.
You're the only one I get to do any intros for. That's 2 intros that I've done for you. Bring you in off the bench.
Yeah. Look, the last couple of weeks it's been tough for me to get on with work and other things going on, but I was going to drop in earlier. I'm not coming on if they got beat, because everyone would be just slating me saying, "Oh, you only comes on when they lose." But it's good to be back.
Did you get to watch the match? All right.
No, I was working till 10, so I was listening to the boys on the commentary and work. The boys were getting very excited, and then when they seen the goals on Twitter, then realised how good they were. So sometimes it's hard to judge with the radio whether the goals are.
I think Adrian Taff and John Flanagan have completely taken over the airwaves when it comes to goals at Oriel Park. Like, Flano looks like it sounds like he's just jumping out of the gantry especially when they're cracking goals. Like, I had to turn the laptop down because my kids were asleep up the stairs. But what from listening to the game, it's hard to judge when you're not watching it. But from listening, did you think that confidence of the I don't know what it sounded like listening on the radio or anything, but of the fans being back, did it feel like there was that kind of little bit extra from them?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think. Look, if you're a player there, I think we mentioned it before. You're not. They probably wouldn't have got away with some of the performances. They probably wouldn't have got out the gate after the game. Some of the performances they put in before, but even on the positive side of it as well, like it lifts you. Even yourself when you're in Oriel Park and Dundalk wins a throw in their own half. There's nearly a lift about them, and the crowd shouting and the stands cheering it on, and obviously the turn end as well. Ross was up at the game, my eldest fella. He's going 11, like, so. He went up on Friday, and he was like asking me all week, like, I have to. So he went up with his friend tonight as well. So he got up to the last two games, and I haven't got back up to Oriel yet. So it's sick. But he was saying the atmosphere was brilliant, and the two goals, like he just said wow about the two goals. Like, even Pingo tried to convince me it was a tap in. He Hogan got a tap in, the hit off a shin guard, and total mess. Like,
I just see, you're talking about the kids up at the football. I just see a post there. I don't know if we can bring it up. I just passion. Like, they were saying Hogan was over at the shed and fist bumping the kids, and it seemed to be that little bit of passion back. And we were just talking about him kind of getting that little, that kind of extra kind of buzz around. Now, not that he never had it, but I think over the last couple of weeks, in the last week in particular, I think we've seen a massive kind of sea change. Now, I'm not saying it'll lead to 3 points next week and the next week, but I think it was almost like 3 cup semi-finals we were playing, and it just seemed to be that motivation, that buzz is now back. And I think, things like that. So, like, one of the lads pointed out that, you haven't seen passion since, like, Chris Shields had left and stuff like that. And I don't know who that lady is there. It's randomly texting there.
I'll open this door behind me.
That's trolling there. I don't know who that is. But it just seems to be, they just seem to have that kind of, passion is probably the only way of putting it. I don't know what's happened the last week, but like your wee flop tonight just would have absolutely soaked up that. It would have been unbelievable for a kid of his age. Yeah,
it's sort of the connection that you don't get when you're sitting at home watching on TV, listening on the radio. Like, it's the personal thing, like him coming over and like hoping sort of celebrates down the town end. If he scores that side, he's straight into that corner, and sure, all the kids are jumping the wall, and it's just great to see. Like, it's a buzz and an adrenaline you just can't get anywhere else. You can't get it at home watching it on TV, and it's just something else. Like, to see a goal like that, and to see 2 cracking goals like that, it's just amazing. Like, you sort of think back to cracking goals that was scored before, like Towels against Bray, and even McElhenney's in the couple of seasons ago against UCD. Like, he's still stick in the back of your head, and the hairs go up in the back of your neck as well when you even think of reliving them.
Yeah.
So, look, if the crowd gives the boys the buzz, then look, long may it continue.
Yeah, just see Gavin. I don't know if we got that flash of the Gavin McKeever's like that mess. I wonder where it would be, and like, hindsight's great and talk, but if they were up there all year, you have that thought in the back of your head, God, what could be achieved with this team? Because we probably won't get to look at them for too much longer, because there's probably not going to be a lot of them. I wouldn't think there might not be a lot of them playing in Oriel Park next season. But it goes to show that, you get your confidence off other people, you bounce off other people. And look, there's probably not a podcast that's hammered these players more than us over the season. But it's just finally, it's great to see that. We're now on a run of 3 podcasts where we've got a bit of positivity. The last 2 in particular have been really positive. People must think people are going to stop tuning in. But I just think that we can't. but like, I don't want to keep repeating myself, but we can't, you know, underestimate the influence that fans and the town have, and the shed side army. Even though they blocked half the League of Ireland TV stream with the smoke, I couldn't see half the game. I was hoping there was no goals because we know replays, but it was just it was one of those weeks. Last week was great, but tonight in particular was just, for a Monday night, was just unbelievable. You have to credit the fans for that one.
Yeah, and I think that's the there's a mentality, I think, now amongst the fans of like it's like kind of like us against the world. Like, it's like the fans have stuck together and they've stuck behind the players on the field, you know. Like it did feel like for a while everything was conspiring against us, you know, like fans, like there's like whatever decisions being made, players leaving, all this stuff. There was a whole load of negativity, but it feels like everybody has like genuinely gotten stuck in, like everybody's gotten behind the team. Even just you saying Monday night, like you'd forget that was a Monday night. You'd think that was like a proper Friday night where you've been sitting waiting for it all week, and then when Friday night comes around, you're mad for the atmosphere. But then I think the performances have, it's a weird one because I'm like, the performances were so bad for such a long time that now that we're getting good performances, it's like you really, really, really savor them, and you really appreciate like the effort that's been put in, because you do forget, like, there were some atrocious performances and some horrible nights where you'd be like, I'm really glad I wasn't in Oriel that night. But the last week, like, it's just been a hell of a week, you know. The atmosphere's been amazing at every game. Good goals and everything. Goals in every game. Never mind good goals. Like, they're actually scoring goals. They could have scored. They really should have been 3-0 up tonight. But for Talbot. And yeah, I think people are just appreciating it. Like, not that it was complacency around beforehand, but it's just like, I think
it sets you up for the week, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think people realize just how important it is that they're behind the team. And I think there's been an awful lot of talk. Like, there's been too much talk, probably. People writing blogs and doing podcasts. And that vacuum of, like, not being able to get into the ground and not being able to support the team. And it probably felt like to a lot of people that a lot of people who were talking about the team weren't properly behind the team. I know that's been thrown around a load of times, like, begrudgers and stuff like that. Like, you're not proper fans and all that kind of stuff. And it's not, obviously it's not the case, but just when you can get everybody in the ground and everybody is able to, like, vocally get behind the team for the 90 minutes, I think it's been so lacking in obviously the last 18 months. And the impact has been there for everybody to see, I think, over the last week.
Yeah, it's amazing what a week. I think the famous saying, a week's a long time in football, and I'm not saying we're not going to move too far up the league or anything like that, but you know, even the results going on, you know, even though we won against Sligo, the results didn't go our way with other games the other night, but it's just that buzz of getting back to winning matches. It's, you know, it's not even winning match, it's competing in games. You know, the Dog fans can take defeat. It's how you take it. It's how you got there. Like, if you're having an absolute mare, then you're going to get it in the neck. That's just the way it is. But if you're going down fighting it with him, definitely. Like, even tonight, the first half hasn't been great. We've talked all season about the first half being, you know, us getting off to not a bad start and then taking forever to get into a game. And tonight, it was different tonight. It just seemed to be, first half was okay. It's not like we were out of the game or anything. It was just two teams just going at it. But the second half was just relentless, completely relentless. Now, I know Bohs probably got the lion's share of it in the second half, but we took our chances, we took advantage of it. But it was just a proper game of football. The last 45, 50 minutes was just a proper game. And the fans added to it. They just seemed to have that want of winning the game finally. And it's like we talk about, it's a Monday night. It's a cracking way to start the week. It puts everybody in good form now for the week. You know, Steph will go to walk down tomorrow and the crack will be 90.
I actually have a couple of days off now.
No, you'll have to go into work. You just have to go into work, show up.
It's even better. Even better being off. But yeah, look, Donald, just what you were saying, sort of, if they had created that sort of siege mentality, and you know, it's probably worked even better now that the fans are in that to get behind the team, and it's just given a massive lift. I don't think there is no coincidence that coincided with each other. Like, so, look, we're looking positive now, and you're looking forward to games instead of not dreading them coming around, but going, oh, geez, are we going to get anything out of this, or can we get through this round in the cup or whatever? So everything's looking more positive, and the trip to Finn Park doesn't look as bad as it did last week.
I was just going to say, they up the Ballybuffet now on is it Friday night? Is it Friday night? Yeah.
Friday night.
And usually you'd be absolutely dreading it. It's a tough place to go anyway, no matter where you are in the league. But now you might have a bit more, because we played them we ended up playing them 3 times in 2 weeks. So you've got a little bit more. They probably couldn't take the full allocation if there is allocated tickets for Friday night. And it just changes the week for everybody, I think, doesn't it?
Yeah, and it's a huge game, and tonight's result almost takes a little bit of the pressure off, because if they hadn't gotten anything out of tonight and it was the game in hand, there's obviously more pressure now Friday night. If you win Friday night now, you're in an absolutely fantastic position now, in a fantastic position in terms of trying to avoid a relegation playoff, which has to just be like
to get away from
this isn't the goal. This isn't what we're trying to do. But to avoid the playoff, like it'll be a massive boost to get 3 points on Friday night. But sure, they're well capable of it. They've put 6 past Finn Harps in 2 games. I know there was extra time and everything, but like they should be going into it confident. Like, if they're not going into it confident now after the last few weeks, they're never going to be confident going into a match. So I don't know whether, like, I know you're saying about the confidence being back and everything, but there were still parts of that first half tonight where, like, Bohs were set up to win, like, to nick the ball off us in our fight or in our defensive third and spring. And every time it happened, I was like, oh, look, this is the stuff that, you know, this is what was giving us fits at the start of the season. And it was like, I don't think I'm confident enough to have forgotten all of that. Like, I think we might only be like one horrendous defensive mistake away from being like, oh no, here we go again. But I thought that was going to happen at the cup replay, and it didn't. So maybe I'm the only one that thinks like this. Maybe I'm the only negative one left.
No, I think the season we've had and some of the defensive blunders we've had, I think it's always in the back of your mind, and it's probably in the back of your mind playing in the pitch as well. It must creep in. It's probably always there that God will they make a mistake. But like even Sonny coming off the bench like the last couple of minutes, we kind of, to me now, I can only speak for myself. I thought was there a need? You know, were they fighting that badly? But then he clears a header. When in a minute, 90 minutes, or 90 seconds, he's clearing a header away, and he's done exactly what he's come onto the pitch for. And you get games like that where he comes on, he might head the ball to the back of the net. And it's one of them nights. But I think again, we'll come back to that word again. It's confidence. If the team's playing well in the field, most of the subs coming on should be able to carry that confidence with them, especially when there's a crowd in the stand. Like, there's probably nothing more daunting than coming off the bench at Oriel Park with a packed stand behind you, running towards the shed that's packed as well. There's probably nothing more daunting in a League of Ireland football. But it comes back to, you know, you just hope they can carry that forward. Like Steph was saying, Finn Harps is not going to be easy on Friday night, and we've got Rovers the following week, and then we're Bohs. So look, every game now is massive. It's completely massive. But like, yeah, just the words that we mentioned earlier on, John Flanagan was in there when Sláinte came off. You know, just to go back on how difficult it was for the lads. I mean, when a player like that goes off the field, it's got to be changed. And Bohs just kind of took over in the middle of the park, but you got the lads stood up at the back. I thought Cleary was going to get sent off. I thought Leahy had a decent game. Djokovskis, I think he was carried in bits of it, but look, I think the fans, just everybody came together that could carry the few players tonight. The few players that had a bit of a nightmare. But I think we can get away with that. I think now we're at the stage where the last week we probably can carry one or two, whereas weeks ago we couldn't carry anybody. You know, we really couldn't. And it's a credit to them. It's credit to the staff. I just hoping the fans can follow them up now. Maybe there's no point in me preaching to fans going up to Ballybuffet because I won't be going. But if you know, I'm sure they will set out their allocation, and like, you know, it's just great to have this kind of motivation back. Like, I'm mad watching next game now. Like, whereas we're only talking about a month ago, we're like, I can't watch these anymore. Like, it's such a turnaround in a week, isn't it? It's mad.
Yeah, it's crazy how quickly things can turn around. But even Dummigan going into the midfield, like plugging a gap there where we would have got beaten 2 weeks ago. So it's just a massive turnaround, and I think the fans have a major part to play in that. So hopefully the away form doesn't get affected by it. We can just keep the momentum going.
And just when we're on a individual basis, where, not to harp on about it, but do we think the goalkeeping situation is do we think it's sorted? Do we think it's cherries now for the rest of the season? Don't want to come to you first or Steph. Whoever wants to go first there?
You go, Steph.
I think it has to be. Like, look, I said that after BB made the last mistake, I don't think he should play for Dundalk again, and I don't think he should. Cherry's done okay when he's come in. I don't think no major mistakes, and I think he has to play from now. Like, he's the best out of the. Well, we don't know much about Yates, but what we did see of him was sort of similar to what a BB can bring. So yeah, I think Cherry's the best at the three of them, and he has to stay in now. And I think the back four, whoever plays there, is a little more confident in Cherry being there than any of the other two. So the more continuity you get at the back, the better it is. We need to keep playing the same players there. They all know each other now at this stage. Yeah. So I don't know what you think, Don.
Yeah, no, I was going to say the same thing, but it's more this, like, from being in the ground, the fans have more confidence in Cherry, so they don't, like, there isn't a massive intake of breath every time the ball goes towards the goalkeeper, like there has been at different stages. Like, when you're fairly confident, he'll just do the safe and to say the safe and normal thing, but he'll take the safe option. Like, he'll punt it into the stand if he needs to, or he'll, take a clean catch if he needs to. Like, he's definitely the best option that we have. I think there's obviously still room for improvement. Like, we can obviously still go and get another goalkeeper in when the season's finished. But for the minute, I'm like, if the boys at the back have confidence in him, and I think the crowd have confidence in him, it has to be him. I mean, he hasn't. The goal tonight wasn't great, but he hasn't made any mistakes, so that's pretty much all you can ask.
In fairness, when the goal went in tonight, I kind of went, "Oh, he's had a nightmare there." But then when you watch it back, I think even Chris was saying in the chat, he's obviously expecting as much as Jokovskis in front of him, Sammy. I'm not sure for them to close that space, and it's only when you watch it back I think that, oh no, he's blundered it there. But in fairness, like I said, I thought he had a decent game tonight. Just reading that, yeah, I fully agree with that statement there. I think that's probably our best. I don't think it would benefit anybody changing around unless there's an injury. There's absolutely no need to change it. Like, they can only learn. They can only get better by playing together. And yeah, for me, I think. Yeah, I mean, when I actually thought he would have played earlier in the season, but Vinny had stuck with a BB. But then, like Steph was saying, he can only play so long. If we had to say, right, we have to cut ties here. But I'd be very surprised if Cherry doesn't play for the rest of the season. I do think he is the best of what we have at present. Yeah, but then look, you don't know. You just don't know what's going to happen in Oriel Park. But like, the good thing for us is the last week we've had that settled side. Yes, we've had a couple of injuries, but I think if they can stay consistent now over the next couple of weeks and get a run together and just get a settled team together, I think it'll the team will. We'd like to get to the stage where the team's picking itself. We need to know the lineup before a game starts, like it used to be. But yeah, no, Cherry, I think he's been excellent. He's probably flown under the radar when it comes to praise at the minute. But I do think he's settled. If he's settled, the two lads in front of him are settled, and I think it can only then kind of transcribe then through the rest of the team for me. Just reading that. Just reading that other one. Sorry, folks. Just reading this other text message. Now.
Hold on, we have to pause the podcast. Gali has to read something.
Sorry, I was just reading. I thought I caught something else out of the corner of my eye. I thought somebody was giving a Pingu again, but it's not. It's got nothing to do with it whatsoever. So lads, just going forward, or just on as it's a Monday night, we don't want to keep everybody too late, but just going forward into Finn Harps on. We've got Finn Harps and then Rovers. We could probably go as far as Rovers. Maybe we don't want to go too far after that. But how do we think? Do we think is it going to be another banana? Well, they're all banana skins for Dundalk at the minute, but is it going to be a tough trip to Ballybofey as normal, or can we carry the confidence into it?
It'll be a tough trip for sure. Like there's not going to be an easy game up there, but they have to carry the confidence that they should have gotten from the last few games into that one. And I think we're all confident that they can get a result up there now when we wouldn't have been 2 weeks ago. So I think like they can absolutely go up there and get a win, and a win would be absolutely massive in the context of where we are in the season and in the table and everything. So confidence is there. Now they just have to go back it up.
I'm going to hit you for a score prediction as well, just to let's see.
Oh,
we haven't done a score prediction in a week or two, have we?
No, I don't know.
We fell out of love with doing them because we were getting them so badly wrong.
Yeah, I think the night that I was the only one that said they weren't going to lose was probably when we should have stopped doing them. No, I see. Frank Carolyn's after stealing it from me there. 3-1 Dundalk is what I was going to say. So there you go. Another 3-1.
That's confidence. Go on, Steph.
Yeah, it's always difficult going up there, but you're not going up there fearful now. You're going up there with a bit of a spring in your step, a bit of momentum. So, Sloggett will be back, or Sloggett might be out, but Patching will be back. So, hopefully, we won't have any more injuries or suspensions or anything to worry about. I think they could go up there and win 2-1. I think like they're dangerous from the long throw-ins, and we always seem to get tough up there, even though we've a good record. It's never plain sailing for us. So I'm hopeful we can get a 2-1 win.
Yeah, I think you're going with them because we've played them so many times over the last couple of weeks. This will be the third outing, but again, I'd love to see a clean sheet. But obviously I'll trade a clean sheet for 3 points. But I think it's so important that they can try and keep clean sheets, especially at those kind of games. It's difficult to keep a clean. I think this team will struggle to keep a clean sheet at Oriel Park. We're obviously not playing Oriel Park Friday, but because of the pitch, I don't know if the ball just moves too fast, in my opinion. But I think if we can get at them, I'm just going to go 1-0 on this one. I think they can. Might be able to. I don't know when was the last time someone will be able to tell me we kept a clean sheet in the league, and won a game. But
2019.
2019 probably. So I'm going to go for 1-0, and that's probably couldn't be any further from the actual prediction. But I'm going to go for 1-0 anyway, Ballybofey, yeah. And I think then we've with a bit of luck we can take 3 points and then, but it's Rovers the following week, so I don't really know if it's going to lead to it's going to be an absolute cracking match. Like the crowd is going to be absolutely unbelievable in Oriel Park on the 8th, isn't it?
Bars are open that night too.
Or bars open?
Yeah.
I won't even be
They
here.
decided that they'd wait until the Rovers game to open the bars because
why not?
There'd be no chance of anything bad happening that night.
Of course. I don't even think they'll take fans up. That's even no matter what's happening in your season, that's one of them games that everybody marks. If you're walking on a Saturday, if you're fortunate to be walking on a Saturday, you're marked off probably on a Saturday, or you're going in late. It's always those highlights. It's even more so than drawing. It's always that game. I think that's Rovers coming to town at any team in the league. That is the game, isn't it? Everybody wants to watch. That was an actual question, boys. It was an actual question. Steph, have you played Rovers, Steph? Did you play against John Rovers?
No, never played against our first. Was involved in a few match day squads against them. Like the season they got promoted from the first division. They had Casso and the Jamie Duffy, Davy O'Connor, Ian Ryan. I think Desi Baker was playing with them up front as well, and they got promoted with Pat Scully,
Right.
but never played against them. Fortunately, probably would have got sent off.
Definitely would have got sent off.
Probably. I think,
I
just
think you get sent off from the stand on Friday night if you went up.
Yeah.
Have you been sent off a Border Legion yet?
What do you mean? Yes. No, I haven't.
Well, you must be odds on in most games, are you? You have to run a rebook at the side of the pitch.
I'm waiting for them to open up betting on it, and then I might take them.
Just a David Moore there looking for a town end top. You can actually, as far as I know, you can contact the Five Sports, and they'll print you one. Obviously, we can't do you one for free, but they will.
What if you join the team halfway through the season? Do you get one then?
Yeah, we will sort you one. That's a promise we have to make live on air. We will actually sort you one. We'll have to sort you one, definitely. We might give one away as a prize one night. We might grab one and give away before the end of the season.
We gave one away already. We'll have to give one away again before the end of the season. David, if you want to message me, I can organise getting the top for you.
There you go. He flies in for one night. He can't even get Donal organised the top, and he's going to get David the top.
Donal organises something for you before the end of the year.
Something for me. That's not a top.
I will be a top. We'll have to sort you out. That was. We'll have to give out to Chris and Aerosmith because they're not here. It's their fault.
Yeah, we get you sorted either way. Gents, I think we leave it at that. What do we for tonight? Monday night. We don't want to keep everybody too late because we're going again Friday night, obviously, and then the big one next Friday night as well. So thanks for everybody tuning in. And look at before we even go, credit to the fans at Oriel Park. I think just when we look at all the comments here, it's everything's the fans making the game 12th man, and the games like that are priceless, and hopefully that'll carry in now to Finn Harps and then into Rovers next week. So I think we never get, if Donald Hanks never gets the final award, so I think we give him the final award tonight. What do we say?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think we got to go with no fans, no party.
Yeah, love it.